The used car market is the most toxic relationship I'm in right now by a mile. Hey, it's the first day of February and you're watching Used Cars Made Easy, brought to you by Carmigo. Is it a good month to sell? Is it a bad month to sell? Who knows? Today we're going to talk about the used car market, gas prices, which cars we think are going to sell the best in February, which cars we don't think are selling that well at all, and we're going to talk a little bit about trucks. We're in a bit of a Goldilocks market when it comes to trucks. You see, Goldilocks showed up at a used car dealership and they showed her the smallest trucks they had on the lot. And she said, "These trucks are too small." And they said, "Oh yeah? Well, check out these." And they showed her the biggest trucks on the lot. And she said, "These trucks are too big." Then they showed her a 2019 Chevy Silverado in Hunter Green with 63,524 miles on it. And she said, "This truck is just right." All right, let's talk about what's going on in the market going into February. The average used car list price is down, but just a little bit. The average used car list price in November was $28,193. So we are down $1,000 from a couple months ago. It feels like used car prices keep going down, but last month's used car list price average was about $7,000 more than it was in the spring of 2021. So we're still riding that high a little bit, just not quite what it was. Even these lower prices in used cars aren't really increasing demand that much. Here's what Cox Automotive chief economist Jonathan Smoke said. As supply of new vehicles improves, and it is improving rapidly, demand for used vehicles is declining. But it's not all bad news. The Manheim Used Car Index was up 20 points in mid-January compared with the start of the year, which is a nice rise, even though it's still 10 points less than it was in December. So that shows that we're not experiencing those rapid drops we were from last year's record-setting used car prices. Right now, the used car market's just sort of, feeling itself out. That may not mean more cash in your pockets if you sell your car this month, but it does signify some stability in the used car market if you're, not sure if you want to sell right now or later. Some more good news for people trying to sell a used car is that new car prices are at record highs. That means even though used car prices are a little bit down and demand is a little bit down, people are considering used cars because new car prices are out of the stratosphere. So there's a new all-time average new car price, and we said it in January. It is $50,000. Wild. $50,000 is a nice East Texas middle-class home in the 1980s. Since new vehicle prices are so high, people in the market for a new car are considering a used car, which is good news for people trying to sell a used car. That's part of what's keeping that used car market from continuing to drop down to, sort of the historic trend. So new car sales are mostly stagnant, and that's, probably has a lot to do with these record prices. With the demand for cars being what it was last year, manufacturers haven't had to introduce incentive pricing or discounts. But new sales are stagnant right now, which means that inventory is starting to pile up because finally new car supply has caught up with what it was sort of in the beginning pre-pandemic level. Not quite, but much closer than it has been. If you're trying to sell a used car, you probably want to list it before manufacturers introduce incentive pricing. I can't guarantee that manufacturers are going to start discounting new cars, but sales are stagnant, inventory's piling up. They might. So if you're trying to sell a used car, prices aren't what they were, but they're probably better than they're going to be. Breaking news from Ford this week, they are cutting the price of the Mach-E by an average of $4,500 to compete with Tesla's new price drops. Tesla cut their prices to boost new car sales a couple weeks ago. They slashed their prices. The Model Y by more than $10,000. This news is coming after I filmed the 2023 February Market Watch. That's why this is a shaky iPhone camera. And now for some bad news. Gas prices are headed back up. We probably, we could see this coming just because they've been falling for so long, but they were at a record high this summer. It feels like we're always talking about record highs. Last summer, record high gas prices. Last fall, record high used car prices. This winter, record high new car prices. Can we just get some regular prices? The falling prices since the summer of last year have boosted some larger vehicle sales, which we're seeing this month. As these prices tick back up, that's probably going to dry up a little bit. But right now, people seem to be a little more okay with purchasing a larger car because they're not thinking about gas prices so much. So if you're thinking about selling a larger car, February might be the month to do it. The average national gas price for regular unleaded hovered around $3.50 in the last full week of January. That's up 10 cents from the week before and 40 cents up from December, which is a pretty decent increase in gas prices. Here's what AAA spokesperson Andrew Gross said. He said the recent rising temperatures led to rising pump prices. And with the cost of oil hitting $80 a barrel, there is a lot of upward pressure on gas prices at the moment. If this trend continues, we're probably going to see lower interest in larger, less fuel-efficient vehicles. That means if you're trying to sell a larger vehicle as gas prices continue to go up, you're probably going to see fewer and lower offers. Gas prices are probably only going to keep going up because we're coming up on like spring travel season and summertime when gas prices traditionally are higher. So if you're considering selling a gas guzzler, it might be time to go ahead and list that bad boy, put it up for sale. So what's the verdict? Should you sell your car? Should you wait? Should you buy a car? Should you go new? Should you go used? So here's what we know. New car prices are higher than ever, so it's not the best month to buy a new car. Personally, I'd wait until they introduce some discounts. It's not a bad month to buy a used car. Prices are down significantly over the past probably 9 months, even though they're higher than they traditionally would be. That said, you could probably hold out a little bit longer and get a less expensive used car, especially if new cars start dropping prices as well. And if you're selling, things aren't as good as they were, last year in the fall and summer, but used car prices are much higher than they historically have been still, so it's not a bad time to sell. So here's the pros if you're trying to sell a used car, which is what, again, we're most interested in at Carmigo. New cars are too expensive for most buyers right now. Used car prices are much higher than they were like back in 2021 and before. Buyers have a renewed interest in bigger vehicles, though probably not for much longer as gas prices keep going up. And finally, prices will likely continue to drop on used cars in the future. So what you get now is probably more than what you'll get in April. Cons. Prices for used cars are lower than they were last summer, last fall. That's a con. It doesn't feel as good if you sell your car now compared to when your buddy sold his car, in August. Another con, if you wait too long to sell your used car, manufacturers may undercut you when they introduce discounts on new cars. And finally, if you sell your used car right now, you might have to buy a new car. And those are very expensive. So just keep all that in mind when you are thinking about selling your car. Remember, with all of this ain't no guarantee. But we looked at our marketplace, we looked at the industry data, and this is what we think February is going to shake out to look like. And here we are, the moment you've all been waiting for. The 5 cars we think are going to sell best in February. That's right, 5 in February. Whatever. Everything doesn't have to be a tag, right? All right, we're kicking it off with sporty cars. That's right. For the first time since June, sports cars have experienced an increase in value, however small. It's 0.03%, the tiniest. On average, sports cars on our marketplace in the last month or so receive more offers than any other body type, which is, we haven't seen that. Maybe since we launched. That's cool. That's cool news for sports cars. I mean, they're not like collectible prices, so don't get too excited, but they are, positive value. Crossovers, no surprise here, but for the first time in a while includes even larger SUVs. So many different genres of crossover, it's hard to tell which size and types of SUVs are selling the best, but we can say overall crossovers are selling great, and even larger ones are seeing an increase in sales because gas prices have just been lower for long enough. We can say with confidence that crossovers have sold a significant higher volume than other body types on our marketplace in the last 3 months. Our third green light car is the Camry, or really just mid-size cars, but the Camry's been doing great. Camry always does great. It's tried and true. Who are we kidding? Toyota Camry, great car. Going into February, Black Book showed that full-size cars were the ones to depreciate the least, other than sports cars, which actually increased. But on the Carmigo marketplace, we're actually seeing the mid-size sedans sell a lot better than those full-size cars. We're seeing a lot of offers on mid-size, just like relatively new, relatively low to mid-mileage, mid-size cars. We're seeing a lot of offers on those. Fewer on the full-size cars, though. And vans. You knew it was coming. You knew I was going to say vans. If you've seen or read any of these market watches, you know that vans sell well. So we don't see many people trying to sell vans, so we don't sell a ton because we don't list a ton because people like their vans. But when we do, we get a lot of offers. We sell those bad boys pretty quick. So if you want to sell a minivan or a cargo van, do it. If you want to sell like a micro van, those are selling terrible right now. Vans, like cargo vans, that are in pretty decent shape, minivans, those are selling great. In the past 3 months, full-size vans have averaged 21 offers per listing, which is a lot. So if you're trying to sell a van, do it. And then finally, we talked about the Goldilocks Marketplace, the Chevy Silverado, baby. I mean, the Ford F-150 too, your Dodge Ram. We're doing good on this, the standard truck. Not the heavy duties, not the little guys. We're talking about your standard truck. What you see like a contractor driving to work in. That's the truck that's doing best right now. New Mavericks are doing good, like new smaller trucks are doing good, but we think probably because those sales are so good and those prices are so reasonable compared to other new cars in the market, used smaller trucks aren't selling as well, just because people are like, might as well buy a new one. Here are your red light cars. Here's the 5 cars that we don't think are going to sell well in February. All right, so we talk about this a lot, but like luxury performance cars aren't selling well, and that is led by, you guessed it, Tesla. Used cars aren't selling well. Part of that is because Tesla just cut new car prices by a ton. You can watch that emergency Tesla update on our YouTube channel. Used Teslas are selling terrible because new Teslas are cheap and because other EVs are on the market now. So performance luxury, not selling well, but specifically because of Tesla. Tesla is like bringing the whole category down. We said big cars are selling a little bit better. Big luxury cars are not selling well. I think part of this is just like you can get a really good car that's not a luxury car that has leather, heated seats, and great sound system and you know what I mean? Like a luxury car isn't what it used to be comparatively. Compact and subcompact SUVs aren't doing as well. You know, it's like your Nissan Jukes. These little guys. People I think are just like they want like a car or they want like an SUV and they don't want something that small right now. I think that if gas prices get kind of crazy again, we'll see those go back up. But right now, that's not a used car that's selling super well. Compact vans. I kind of feel bad, like I'm picking on compact vans. The only reason I know about compact vans not selling well is because like somebody tried to sell one this month and I just like zeroed in on it on our marketplace. But I looked around and, Black Book, everybody else says that compact vans aren't selling super well right now. So yeah, if you're trying to sell a micro van, a compact van, maybe wait a little bit. And small trucks. Here's the Goldilocks Market again. Small trucks are really affordable, like new right now, and they're selling like gangbusters. Like Ford Mavericks, new car sales are setting records for Ford. But used small trucks aren't selling quite as well. So, if you're trying to sell a Maverick this month, it may not be the month to do it. If you're trying to sell like a Chevy Colorado, maybe hang out a little bit because people are just going for the mid-size truck right now or a new, very reasonably priced truck. If you want a new truck right now, new car prices are through the roof. But some of these smaller trucks have some of the same, luxury features and performance features as the mid-size trucks. Are just smaller. And so those are pretty reasonably priced and people are going for them right now. So there you have it. It's a good month to sell a used car. It's a good month to buy a used car. It's a terrible month to buy a new car. And gas prices are going back up.